Yeah, it's perfect.
So we're back. This is Hot Rod Pod number 2, and yeah, I'm kind of the host, and I'm talking to the guest who was the host, and yeah, I used to help him. But welcome along, Shane Bland, number 42, National Hot Rod
Yeah, it's been a
Superstar.
while. It's been a while, and good to see you, Gary. I think we both had a nice break.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I think I was last doing this about sort of 3 years ago, and you carried on doing it. And Shane, I have to tell you, you've done some fantastic pods. The one you did with Terry Hunn, I thought was so in deep. You know, it was excellent. But and many others. So
I think, yeah, the beauty of that was, I think it was that lockdown thing. Everyone had more time, and it gives you time to reflect on what you had because obviously you're racing. So I
yeah,
think you get to the point where you're like, actually, really miss it. And it was a good little break. And everyone had the time to talk, and it was the bit of social life that you could have. So it went really well. But unfortunately, you know, as time goes on, we all got busy again.
yeah.
And because they were like an hour long each, I didn't really want to shorten them off, and it just become more difficult. And I thought, in the end, I thought, well, I'll give it a break for a bit. And obviously, um, a bit of variety would have helped. But it was good while it lasted, and it's good that now you're back for some reason, Gary. What are you back?
Oh
What's
yeah,
going on
yeah.
in your
Kind of.
life?
Yeah, I think the COVID was that reset, and then obviously got back involved, and yeah, again, business sort of took over. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit, I suppose, semi-emotional, and it was obviously a big Hot Rod fan. Pam died earlier in the year, and whenever I used to go racing, she always used to say to me, "Oh, Gary, we love you back," and she was just like she's like that to everyone, and she passed, and then I'm like, I needed to go to Aldershot just out of respect for her. Went there, see everyone again, see John, and and I thought I need to be back in and around, and I'm too slow to even ever think about racing. I don't want to be official anymore, so I like this sort of stuff. So yeah, that's
Yeah, I think the Pam thing was a little wake up call to a lot of people, because it kind of, when you have a couple of fans like that who endure all the highs and the lows of the racing, and obviously know the ins and outs, the politics that go on, but just turn up and enjoy the racing because they like the racing. And
yeah,
it's a bit of a reminder with that, because I think we all get too involved in stuff that we can't control, and you waste your time trying to do things that you think are right, but you it's not about that. If you want to go motor racing, you go motor racing. If you want to go hot racing, you go hot racing. And
sure,
that's why I stopped last time, and it's kind of why I'm coming back now as well. I was just worn out, and uh, in a bad place from a hot rod point of view. I'd kind of just worn out. I'd burnt out, had enough.
yeah,
Um, and it's taken me a few years to to get back into that sort of mindset that I want to do it. And it only really occurred to me about a month ago. It's always been on my mind, but I've always thought only go back when you are fully committed. I've now got the time to do it. I didn't have the time before because I was running a few businesses, and
yeah.
the pressure time wise was crazy. Also, my son, he's now 8. When
Wow,
we finished, he was 6, and
yeah,
so he wasn't coming to all the race meetings. It's a little bit different for me to a lot of the drivers, like the Huns and people like that, where
yeah,
the whole family turn up. It's normally just me and sometimes my dad and our little team, but it's never been like a sort of wife and kids thing. It wasn't when I was a kid. I didn't go all the time with my dad because it was
yeah.
kind of, he was fully focused on the racing. I didn't want me like hanging around too much, only if I kept quiet and stuff. So it's not always possible. But anyway, he's
Yeah,
he's 8. He's been nagging me to go racing. So
lovely.
it was all there, and I thought, well, now I've got time to spend on the car, which was a couple of things that I think last time I had really sort of hindered me was time and effort on the car. I
Sure,
ran out of energy a little bit, so I wasn't putting the effort in, but also I didn't have a huge amount of time left anyway, and it was always compromising family time. So, you're always sort of pushing and pulling. So that was a problem. Um, I was also like mentally just drained. I'd had some good times, some bad times. I'd changed the car. I was always trying to do something my way, um, and a bit stubborn with it, rather than kind of, you're here to compete. I'm here to win. So sometimes you've got to go, you know what? I am just banging my head against the brick wall. Why not change the approach? And
Yeah.
also fitness wise, I've now got time to get fitter and stronger. I'm much fitter and stronger than I was when I left, but I'm still a bit on the heavy side. So,
Yeah. So
I'm committed to losing some weight now. So
good,
that's
good.
a good thing.
So on the fitness thing, is it how fit do you need to be to drive a national hot rod?
Well, I always said you didn't need to be, but the real wake up call for me was when I bought the Fiesta and we went testing in at some point in the winter and I asked Perry Cook to come with me so he could be like a because we went to Swaffham and we don't race there, so I didn't have a clue what times and stuff. So just said, as a refresher, why don't you go in your car, I'll go in mine, and we'll just follow each other around and it will be a benchmark for me. And he was just banging in these, fast laps. I could do one or two, but I couldn't do, and that's partly down to the car. But also, he'd get out of the car and he'd be just whatever. I'd get out of the
Yeah.
car and I'd be absolutely
Yeah.
shattered,
Yeah.
And I just thought, that
Yeah.
how am I going to compete with this?
Yeah.
He's just concentration wise is much better than me.
Yeah.
Um,
75. You do that over 75 laps, that's
yeah, and it was so that so you have got to be fit. You have got to be reasonably fit. And a lot you look at the guys who are at the front, they are fit. They might not go training, but
yeah.
Rug McDonald fixes lorries and stuff. It's like what Guy Martin does, I think. So
Yeah.
that's hard work,
Yeah,
and
he's a
he's
little bit
doing
more
that.
famous than Guy Martin, I think,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
he's doing
That's
that day in, day out.
yeah, yeah,
And most of them are. And actually the
yeah,
ones who are doing the winning of the big races, particularly the 75 lappers,
sure.
they're 85 kilos probably. I'm
Yeah.
100 well, I was 109 kilos last week. I'm sort of
I,
down to about 107
I like the way
now.
you're
So
counting them
I've
now.
got a bit
So
of way to go.
yeah, a little bit of advice. Yeah, get off that tractor and cut the grass by walking around here,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair
yeah.
enough.
So yeah, so should we talk about the others? Should we talk about this weekend? So Speed
Mm.
Weekend, World Championship. Did you go last year? Have you been for the last couple of years, or have you been?
No, I went
Yeah.
the year before last.
Okay.
Um
Paul Newton
and
that year.
I've not been to. I don't like watching hot rod racing because I always want to be in it.
Yeah.
So it just, I do enjoy that World Final. Last World Final I watched was the last one Rob won, which was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
an
Epic race.
amazing, one of the best. Well, probably that and the Roger Peck one for
Yeah.
me. Those are the two I've seen which
Yeah.
have blown my mind and gone.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to do that.
Yeah, you go back to
So
watch it. It reminded me a little bit of the national weekends, when when that four-way battle and the epic one when Gary won it. It's just like it was like that. It's one of them races that you just it's what you turn up to. What as a fan, you want
yeah,
that really.
you wish they were all like that, all the World Finals, but the World Finals aren't often that
No,
good
no.
because it's a very different way of going racing for us. It's a
Yeah,
different
sure.
different
Fastest at the
challenge.
front generally. Fastest at the front generally. So obviously this year they're mixing up a little bit. We got a new system, Super Pole. Any thoughts on how that's going to play?
I think it's good. I think it's great because from a driver's point of view, you do your qualifying on the Saturday morning, then you have a long wait until the day after, and this adds another element. It adds a bit more, yeah, hope, if you wanted to call it hope, or the
Yeah,
opposite. You think if you put it on pole in the morning and you got to wait all day and do it
yeah,
again,
yeah. I'm not quite sure on
and
the
you've
odds
got,
on double pole, if you like.
yeah, it could be, who knows? But also, I think you've got another heat cycle for the tires,
Yeah,
which is really makes a big difference. Every heat cycle you put through these tires that we run now really does affect the overall performance of the car. So I think those first 12, one, their cars will feel different after for that second qualifying. Two, obviously the conditions will be different because we would have had some races. So who knows what sort of situation we've got there, because we might have a dirty track, might have a perfect track, might have been raining. There's so many more elements. And you might have had the luck the first time round where you might have been the last one out and it had been the perfect conditions or whatever. And then you go to that next session and there's so much more up in the air. So I think it's really good. I think it's good for the drivers, good for the crowd. And it's good actually, even for the 12 drivers that don't go through to Super Pole,
Sure.
because they've got those all that they've all got tyres that have been through one less heat cycle, which I think will be a benefit.
Yeah, that could be, yeah. So maybe the person on position number 13, we got to be watching out for them, eh? Lucky 13. So as far as them hot lap situation, as the driver, how do you tackle it? You know, is it something that you're confident with when you go out there? How do you feel about that sort of scenario?
I enjoy them. I tend to go better in the qualifying than I do in the race around that place because I've just never been that great apart from around there, you know. Um, so a lot, I mean, it's really 50-50. I'd say you do see some drivers that are really good at all the other weekends, but they struggle at this with the qualifying. They just can't get the head around it. Other drivers have no problem. So it is a bit of a because it's so different to a normal weekend. It is a challenge for quite a few of those top drivers. Don't like it
Sure.
at all, but
Yeah.
I always naturally liked it. But I think that was it was helpful for me to do circuit racing because you have to do one flying lap and the sort of pressure's on for that one lap
Yeah.
and you just go straight out and do it. So there's also, yeah. So I also have little things I do to prepare for it.
Okay, yeah, I think that everyone's got their little, yeah, little quirks with that, and yeah, it's interesting. I said, being on out on the centre green with you guys many times, it's the difference in approach to drivers. You see drivers that are so usually calm and collected most weekends, and then they are really, yeah, kind of frozen. But yeah, no, it's good. I love it. I can't, yeah, the double build up of that. It's going to be brilliant. As a fan, I'm looking forward to watching it twice. So runners and riders, as it were. Obviously, like when you look through the list of drivers, there's I don't know where to start from, like as obviously, if you're racing in England and you're racing Ipswich a lot, you've got that advantage, but Northern Ireland always bring. I looked at, Northern Ireland have won at the World Champs 16 different times, different over the year, and they only started that in the mid 80s, early 80s. So very dominant, and of course Scotland now, and Gordon Alexander Scotland. I don't count Rob as Scottish. I think he's English the amount of time he spends down here, but
Yeah,
yeah, definitely English these days. But
fair enough. I might tell him that if he's on pole, I'll tell him that just before he goes out, just to
yeah,
wind him up a bit more.
that'll get him going. Southern Islands, yeah, I don't think it's someone from South Africa, but come on. So who do you reckon's favourite for this year?
Well, I mean, I've got to say Rob McDonald. He's just, I know it might be a boring answer, but he's just been sensational for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
And I know, and I look at it from the English series, and I think what he's achieved this year, missing rounds and still kind of what appeared to walk the actual points championship, which is very different at the end of the day to trying to win majors because winning the points is like being the most average driver in a
yeah,
funny kind of way, the best average driver.
yeah,
So I would say I would say Rob, but then there's others, which I don't know much about. So someone who's been fantastic this year, which I don't know much about at all, is Hayden Ballard, who I'm
yeah.
just,
Very good last week.
came third
Really
in
good.
the
Yeah,
in the series. I think it's only his second season.
yeah,
I know he's done 2 liters before. I don't know what his history is, but there's obviously you've got the sort of newer guys, Aaron Dew, who's always fast,
yeah,
um, and just chipping away. So I think you could have a dark horse like that, but I think Rob's got to be the clear favourite from my point of view, from the English side of things. And I think overall, probably Rob, but the Northern Irish uh, and obviously, yeah, there's lots of others.
Yeah, so yeah, I think I had a chat with Derek, and obviously he seemed quite confident, which is good, and to go out there and win it again. But obviously, when you look over there, I think yeah, sort of Shane Murray is like, yeah, looks fantastic, and he's always turns up with impeccable cars, quick poles. Um, Adam Maxwell, won it before. If it's wet, he's going to be in the mix. Glenn Bell, another loves the rain. I think he won it in the wet. Christie. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, no, Northern Ireland's just there's so much depth. But
I
I think for
think.
England, Hayden Ballard, I was really impressed with him last week at the Angie Rowe. Yeah, he looked, yeah, he's got that sort of swagger about him as well. Of what a lot of the young lads have, I say young lads, but like Perry, yeah, really, yeah, a great driver. Paul Wright, all the emotions of the night of winning, and then sort of in the final. But of course, Billy as well, the Mazda. I mean, I think the sense I had when he debuted at Aldershot that it was maybe not quite ready, so there was a lot to get it ready, but
Mm.
at Ipswich it looked quick, and he was bang on it. He was really, he looked good. So
Oh, right, yeah.
yeah,
Well, I think, yeah, I think that's the beauty of national hot rod racing is that it's so competitive. It's ridiculous. It's
uh,
just,
and
it's
and amongst
brutal.
that, we didn't even say Chris Head. That's crazy, isn't it? You know what I mean? And like,
Well, I was just looking at Chris actually because he's obviously now got the Ginetta and he
Janetta,
seems to
yeah,
have dialed that in quite quickly.
yeah, yeah,
And obviously, Chris Head around Ipswich,
yeah,
he can turn it off. He can turn it on in the day. And I think actually someone like Chris, who he's definitely someone who kind of saves himself and he just turns up and he could. I wouldn't be surprised if he was back on pole. Actually, I think he's
sure,
getting back on it now. Like
yeah,
you say, the younger guys. I don't know much about Billy's new car, but it looks quite smart, and it would have been one hell of a job to get that car ready for Aldershot. Because whenever you've got a brand new car, never mind actual brand new, as in the first one off the production line, there's so many bits and bobs that just trying to get the seat right, the steering right, the brake, getting all the brake pressures right so you're comfortable in the car and all those real basic things. If they're not bang on, you're not going to
yeah,
drive it to the max. So to so he may well come out and make another step forward because he's started with a car so new. If he's gone okay at Aldershot, then gone really well at Thunder 500, he might then come out a step again. You just
yeah,
don't know. So
yeah.
that's quite a real unknown.
He seems
You
as
just you just
he's one
don't
of
know.
he's one of them drivers, and I think all of the top drivers had this knack of being able to drive a car regardless of kind of how it's set. So you see someone that might crash into a wall or something, but they still look so good. So it's getting the best out of that car. You
Yeah,
understand. So it's not obviously it's great if it's all set right, but I think Billy could almost sort of get something out of any car if you like.
yeah. I think he is one of those drivers, definitely, and around Ipswich in particular. I think certain drivers do better at certain tracks, and for me, Ipswich always seemed to be a negative place for me to go. I had the odd good result, but I have to get the car absolutely perfect to be able to drive it around there. But
Yeah,
Hednesford, I can drag a bad car around, and I think you look at Billy, for example, he's could go to Ipswich. We can go anywhere really, but Ipswich, he always seems to go well, even if he looks like one of the wheels is hanging off. It still seems to
yeah.
go round.
Yeah, often they are. But I think the other one, there's a couple of more ones such as Aaron Dew, like you said, become really consistent. I mean, he's had quite a few, sort of he's been up there, top three, fours, good qualifying in the past. Yes, he looked good last week, but also dark horse Dan Smith. I think if it's wet, yeah, because he's good in the wet, and I mean, I'm not playing the rain up, but it's been a little bit. It's looking at the one I'm looking at
Yeah,
is
it could be.
50% showers, so. It's won the 2 litre world before, and
Yeah.
yeah, dark horse for sure. But yeah, no, it's going to be great.
I
Yeah,
think just going to the Irish lot, I didn't really. I think Shane, Adam, Derek, absolutely. You know, like what happened. What happens sometimes. They might get first, second, and third on the grid.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
sometimes the Northern Irish turn up and you go, oh, hang on. And Adam's just got this knack of pure speed. You
Yeah,
know, he's got when he's fast, he is just devastatingly fast, and
yeah,
he's got that brutal streak as well, like Rob has.
yeah,
Um, so I think Adam, I think, could come through people. You know, as in if he's top three rows, he could still come through them. I think Derek and Shane are more sort of on the, if they put it on pole, you'll struggle to catch them.
sure.
But
Yeah,
I think they're less likely to come through, if you like.
yeah,
But I think
yeah.
Adam's one of those that, um, if he's got the pace, but he'll come through, he'll steam through.
So you just imagine this time next year it'll be we'll be saying Shane Bland in the same terms, maybe, you know. But
Well, I think, funny thing with this game is you're out for 2 years and it's like starting again. I mean, the people always say, well, the cars aren't any quicker, lap times are the same, this, that, every, where's where's the improvement? Why is everyone changing the car? But I can tell you, you go around there, it doesn't matter who you are, you come back after a few years away, it doesn't matter if the lap times are the same. For some reason,
yeah,
it's maybe the way the cars behave and where they're quick. They
sure.
might be quicker at certain parts of the track, and if you're not quick there,
Yeah.
but it's going to be so difficult. And coming back probably round 4 or 5, I think. I'll be really pleased to qualify. I'm not expecting to come back and just be bang on the pace. I think it'll take some time, so I'm being going to be patient on that. Just
So
another one on just I don't want to drag on too much, but what's your thoughts on David Casey? Because
of course.
obviously he's out there on his own, really. But having said that, they've got a decent series now in Ireland. There's
Yeah.
a few cars. Sometimes they have a lot of cars, but obviously they're relative to the experience of the Northern Irish and the English.
Yeah.
They're a little bit behind,
David's
obviously, except
yeah.
David.
Yeah, he's a top driver. I mean, I think I was out there in Northern Ireland when he won the British as well over there, which was a great. And obviously he's been on the podium several times in the world, and he's always there or thereabouts. But yeah, I love him. He's one of them as well. That
It'd be extremely popular win, wouldn't it? It
oh
would
yeah,
be.
yeah. He does. He's a bit like yourself. He doesn't do seconds, if you like. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if he's close, like last 10 laps, and if he's in the mix, it's like he's coming fast. So yeah, and he's great, and the family are great. So yeah, and the Southern Ireland, and of course with young Jeff, like obviously racing, he's raced up in the north, and he's done really well. He
Yeah.
came up to the Angie Row, and he had a blow up. So in I think it was in practice or first race which all that way, which was a long way to come for that, if you like.
Oh,
But he wanted,
brutal.
bless him, he wanted to bring. He was defending champion, and he wanted to come over and bring the trophy back. He was just top lad. So, but yeah, it's
It's a
disappointing
lot
for.
of effort.
Yeah, hopefully the new engine will be put back in. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. So the new car. So have you picked it up yet? When are we likely to see you out
No,
track?
it'll be. I should get the chassis middle of August, um, with a bit of luck, and then it'll be a sort of case of pretty much it'll be bolting it together. It's a cardboardly car, the Evo Janetta. It's a cardboardly engine I'm having this time, which is different for me. Um, and yeah, I'm hoping sort of September time
Okay,
will be
okay,
out.
good. I heard a rumor that yours was all in a crate, and Malcolm Blackman went down and picked it up. So I don't know whether that's true or not, but make sure you look at the chassis number on there.
Yeah, well, it's funny that he'll probably will be down at Sonny's only and just making. I think there's about 3 or 4 in build at the moment, so I could
Excellent.
just see him going down there and going, "I want that one," because he'll measure everything and find something that he likes more about one than the other,
Yeah, I
because
love it.
he's very meticulous like that.
Yeah, the competition's fantastic. So, and also hopefully we're gonna get to follow it on your YouTube. So because obviously
Yeah.
I've been watching you on this Bland's Barn channel. So yeah, tell me about that. What was the idea behind that?
Well, I like cold cars and I've been doing them up, and I like watching YouTube. So in lockdown, someone said to me, "Oh, do you watch someone on YouTube?" I was like, "I don't watch YouTube. I'm
Yeah.
an adult." I thought it was just people like setting fire to stuff and doing pranks and all that. And then I
Yeah.
started watching a few things, and I was like, "Wow, this is so good! It's really kind of geeky, and you can really, I got into so much of it." And then since I've sold my businesses and stuff and I got a bit of time, I was like, right, I'm going to do these cars up because I wanted to do some cars. And I thought, well, I'll try videoing them, and it's been good so far. It's not, it's not exactly setting the world on fire, but it's really nice. I've got a lot of a decent amount of followers, and they enjoy it, and
Good.
it's all across the world. It's quite a few in the States. They enjoy it. So
Excellent.
I'm going to do the hot rod on there as well. I think it's quite a bit off piste for that for the normal stuff, but
Yep.
I actually think it will do the whole lot. The whole process of from a bit of fitness to getting the trailer sorted, what kit you need to take, how to build it, all that. Really, just talk about the whole thing and demonstrate the whole thing. I'm
Sure.
hoping to go to a few different places supplier wise to show people, like with the diffs, how they're built and what the differences are between the diffs we use, and a bit more on the technical side because I think people really enjoy that. And actually, I think it'll be something you know worldwide that like American Americans will watch as well.
Yeah,
Because they
without a
obviously
doubt.
love
I
it.
mean,
You know,
yeah,
and
I think yeah, it's more than just watching cars going around, isn't it? I mean, I think I said to you in my absence, I've been to several Formula One Grand Prix meetings and touring cars, and it's kind of great. But I so enjoy watching, Survive, Netflix stuff and the NASCAR one that went on there, and also watching like YouTube channels like yourself. It's just really good seeing, like behind the scenes, Briscoe Formula One are doing something similar. So yeah, I'm hoping obviously now to come back and do these pods as a regular. So we've got
yeah,
quite a few guests, and we've just done one with Derek, and I think we'll do one. Whoever wins it, we'll probably pick up with them next week and try to put it out monthly. And yeah, planning to do some behind the scenes stuff as well, which would be good, and also doing the live stuff. So we'll be a speed weekend. I'll be doing some live stuff behind the scenes, doing some footage for the YouTube, which would be good. And the TikTok, the TikTok's gone absolutely crazy. I think we're set up. I was watching with the grid was lining up for the Angie Row, and I'm just kind of watching there, and I'd done a lot of filming, and I thought, I wonder what this TikTok's about. And I literally set it up there and then while the cars are assembling. And yeah, so just over a week later, we are having absolutely thousands of views, loads of subscribers, and it's like it's just a little bit of play stuff, but it's good. It just brings a new audience. So yeah, really excited about where it's all going, really.
and yeah, TikTok is massive, but it's one that I've managed to avoid. But it's
Yes.
so good. It is. Obviously you see things that go on, and all the youths use
Yeah.
TikTok, and it's great, isn't it? So I think it's I'm pleased you're doing that, Gary. I'm just glad it's not me having to sign
Yeah.
up to TikTok.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Just be careful with them swipes. But yeah, no, all good. But right, thanks for your time, Shane. It's been really good. It's really good to be back, and it's like, yeah, it's good. A lot of people coming back, but a lot of people already there, staying there, and it's like, yeah, the fans, love hot rods. It's yeah, really good. So I'll catch up with you soon, and yeah, thanks for your time, and yeah, see
Yeah,
you around.
yeah. I'll be around. I'm not coming to the World Final because I've already booked a holiday, but
Okay,
I'll be watching. I might even sign up to TikTok to
okay,
see some behind the scenes action.
do that, do that. Right, okay. I'll see you. I'll look out for you. Right, thanks
Cheers,
everyone.
Gary.
Yeah, thanks, Shane. Thank you. Cheers.
See ya.
Cheers.